Hey, I took one of the pins out and the picture went out of the picture frame. Those have to be connected. So if we put other ones in there, they may show us something else. Do we want to look for more secrets and hidey holes, or...?
And did I do a thorough search last time of things? Did I thorough search anything here? It's slowly coming back to me. I thought, can I use forensics on the enlarged child sock?
You can actually. You think that someone has been wearing it. The bottom of it seems to have been strained, so it's been rubbing against something.
Catering to a very specific fetish audience.
Artemis will not touch the sock.
Cinder and Noel.
So Cinder is going to ask him to go to the beginning of the apocalypse.
You think that the beginning of the apocalypse seems to have been accessed by another computer, and because of that, you think safety measures have put it behind an extra, firewall. And Noel would be able to tell you that this entire device is missing a chip. It's like a physical manual reset on the back of a router.
So not like the chip in Artemis's neck.
No, you think it's an external one.
Okay.
However, there are entries available from both far before the apocalypse and some after the apocalypse, a short one after the apocalypse that's available.
Let's look at the after, please.
The after one, you see the family come out of pods. All of them at first seem very happy, but very quickly they seem a bit hesitant. They keep looking around as if they were expecting other people. Then they just venture out to the general environment of the shelter as they normally would. The father quickly goes to the security room, begins to work with the computer, and then suddenly you see this shock wash over his expressions and then change it into anger and fear. He seems to look at the cameras in a very paranoid way. So this is all happening in the office. And then after a while, start to take off all the cameras one by one. And keep in mind, with the cameras, you can see every other room. So now you know what each room is.
Does he say anything when he starts to look startled to like Amelia or anything?
He doesn't say anything at all. In fact, he seems to feel like as if he's under surveillance. And so he tries to keep any information leak to a minimum.
Gotcha.
Sachiko?
Let's study the table itself and bioanalyst to do so to see if there are any biological traces on it.
There seems to just be a little bit of blood on the corner end, one of the sides of the table, and you think that side of the table is the side pointing towards the kitchen. You see that there's a little bit of a fabric from a type of a fancy clothes stuck to the corner of the table, as if it was torn against it.
And I want to find out how old they are.
They're the same age as the food, so you think it belongs to the same timeline, and they belong to Laura Trummond, the mother.
How did it get there? Was she smashed against the table?
She fell while sitting at the table, as if she passed out.
So could it be that she drank the poison and then slammed her head on the table?
As for the head, yes. But for the cloth, you think she has to have been pulled off of her place for that part to happen. So it probably happened after the head hitting.
So someone pulled her away from the table after she fell on the table. And about the food and the bacteria, do they in any way remind me of the ecosystem created in the bathroom?
Yes, and that gives you a hint of the ecosystem in the bathroom already having been there by the time whatever happened at this table happened.
Again, everything reinforces the idea of multiple generations coming out of the pods and committing suicide in some ritualistic fashion.
Artemis.
Can Artemis make a little contraption? It's super basic. It's just a little stick with a mirror on it so he could look around corners. Yeah.
He definitely could. He could go to the bathroom for the parents' room and
yes.
get himself a piece of a mirror. What do you call this little item?
Sneaky peepers.
All right, sneaky peepers.
And then he wants to look in the butt room using the mirror. He wants to spy on the butts.
Down a bed that seems to have been jumbled up, an entertainment station above the bed that doesn't seem to have gotten much use. There is a locker. On the left, there is a service trolley, and there is an auto closet. Everything in the room, keep in mind, is very primitive compared to how the technology of the shelter is. Right, there is a service interface, and you think there are bits of items on the ground that might belong to other things as well. I can't give you more unless you step in.
Can I use forensics on the small items on the ground?
So you go in then.
If I look around the door frame for traps and everything around.
You think it belongs to a sort of machete. Yeah, a kinetically advanced sort of machete.
But I'm guessing it's just part of it.
Yeah, it's the protective plates, as if it's been opened. You think they've been taken off carefully, but in a rush, as if someone was desperate to take them off.
I want to keep the protective plates. In the actually, forensics on the jumbled up bed.
All right. You see that the mattresses and everything has been removed. In a very angry and desperate search for something, there are bits of blood and even bits of skin all over the mattress and around it, even on the ground. And you find something technological. You can't quite understand what it could be used for, but the shape of it kind of reminds you of MRI scanners. You think something technological was hidden within the bed. And again, that's a very big contrast compared to the rest of the room, which is not technological at all.
Can I keep this technological thing in my inventory? Is it?
No, it's very big. It's like connected to the bed.
Very big. All right.
You think it might have been slightly damaged, but it's still functioning. And underneath the bed, so as you lift these up and you see underneath the bed, there seems to be a trace of two bags, two like toolbox type things of the same size. One of them is still there. One of them seems to have been taken.
Is it something I can pick up?
Yes.
I want Cinder to look in the bag. Because she's good with traps and stuff.
I mean, Cinder is just kind of standing at the door, just looking at you with a bemused smile on her face, just waiting quietly.
I think what he meant when he was saying, you're good with traps, is there's 3 of you.
No, completely, 100%. You want me to take the bullet on this one?
Yeah, love.
Why the fuck not? Get out of the room.
He goes out the room and looks at it with his little sneaky peeper.
Alright, she's going to check for the obvious traps first, and then she will get a closer look.
None found?
She's going to look for something that has an extended grip so that she can kind of poke at it just to see what it does.
An extended grip. You could get the sneaky peeper. You use the same extendable pole from the storage, let's say. Is that good?
Sure, yeah, that's perfect.
You poke it, nothing happens.
Is there a latch to it?
2 latches on the top.
She's gonna try to flip one.
You do it easily.
Artemis will be obnoxiously moving the sneaky peeper over towards where she is so we can see what she's doing.
Do the other one?
You do the other one as well. It can now be opened.
She will try and flip it open with her extendo rod.
You do. Nothing bad seems to happen.
Sweet. There you go.
Artemis still approaches with the sneaky peeper. Cautiously.
She walks back out of the
It's like, now
doorway.
it explodes.
She did her job.
All right, you start poking at it. It opens up. Seems like completely normal. You see inside it lots and lots and lots of lovely, delicious forensic investigation equipment.
Oh, I thought it was going to be food. I was actually excited as a person.
So, piss information about the living room straight into my mind's mouth.
You just see that there are lots of holographic chairs. There is a table in the middle with a 360-degree hologram TV, basically, that would show the same image to anyone sitting around it. And that is pretty much the living room. Just different types of gaming stuff. It's basically an entertainment station, again, in the middle. Nothing remarkable about it unless you have very specific questions.
I go into the kitchen.
This place seems completely dark. You think certain systems and safety mechanisms might have been tripped on purpose in this place, just because it's not behaving like the other rooms would. Up, there is the counter. Down, there are warmers, let's say, just lots and lots of different types of things, like the oven, like the electric stuff, just warmers. Left, there is the freezer section. There are fridges, and there is also a big freezer door as well to keep frozen food and frozen things inside.
So the first thing I do, I determine all the escape routes. So I begin from warmer cabinets and open them one by one. Papers with things that might remind her from her past, and a Sharpie.
You don't find anything specific, just different types of tools to keep food warm in the cabinets, different slow cookers and such, kitchen utensils, all kinds you could pick from, and safe indoor barbecuing systems.
Can I go through the cold cabinets as well?
You go through all of it, you don't find anything specific. However, when you are to open the freezer part, Cinder, you would understand that something about this entire freezer has been rewired to not have the same safety mechanisms as always. And if it was to be opened because of these modifications, you think the freezer might not work anymore. So you would be sacrificing a very big freezer if you were to open it.
Cinder will relay this information, but we have MREs, so I don't think we really need the use of it. What do you think?
Even if we don't want to, even if we want to use it later, how can we use it without opening it?
No, this is his specialty.
Fixing fridges.
What I'm going to do for Noel is, essentially, she's going to get everything that Noel is going to need to fix up the cameras.
Sure. The cameras, other than the one that Artemis picked apart, all of them are functioning, so he doesn't even need anything.
Beautiful. So essentially, Noel, sweetheart, what I'm looking for is anything that is not hidden on the devices in front of you, or at least not hidden well. If you can find them, it would be wonderful.
He tells you there's an intercom system. You can talk to anyone you want, just all over the rooms. And he also tells you about the chip mail system being one that allows anyone from any room under the lockdown circumstances to send the chip to the machine and to request it from any of the rooms. You can request it from any of the rooms. You can talk to anyone from any of the rooms, from any room here. And there's a hologram system that can be turned on and off. It decorates the walls, the table, everything.
Can we turn off the hologram, please?
He turns off the hologram, mostly in the living room and dining room area. The artifice disappears and it reveals the vent that you guys usually go up, and it reveals the building access more clearly. Artemis?
Can I look in the toolbox, please, at all the forensic tools to see exactly what's there, what I can take and what Sachiko can take?
You think, first of all, that they're put there in a very orderly fashion. You get more foraging stuff, and eye for details, she gets more medical stuff. Any that's important to you, let's say you take it.
Yeah, okay.
Artemis, you know sharing is caring, right?
If you'll look, my dear, there's still half a bag.
Hey, Sachiko, we have something here. Can you look at it, hon?
What's going on, bitches?
We found a bag with lots of shit that I can't use for weapons. You two have fun.
Artemis just passes the bag to her and goes, I believe these should suit you better, my dear.
Mostly some of the important police-type investigation stuff are taken off. Anything super medical is still left in.
So you remember from the last campaign that I had some items that I could shove into things and get DNA information?
There is a more primitive version of those, but it can still work, yeah.
How many uses does it have?
This one, probably about 5.
I also try to look at the bag using my criminal background and see if it rings any bell.
Rings such personal bells, it's disturbing. This is specifically what Dr. Slab would teach a student as to how to format their bags and their tools and how to keep them.
Artemis and Cinder, if they are looking at Succ, they first see her eyes getting round and then they see a look of PTSD flashback dawn on her.
So Cinder Center will immediately go to Sachiko, gently touch her to see if she jerks at the reaction.
If she jerks off at the reaction?
No, if she
I think
tenses and jumps
you are overestimating her libido.
I was trying to think of anything I could do to help, and then I was like, I have the sedative dart. I was like, oh, maybe not.
She just goes over, pokes at Sachiko. Sachiko is like fucking terrified. Like, and then she says, Vsauce, Michael here. We're running an experiment.
Oh. So does Sachiko freak out when she is touched?
When you touch her, you feel her muscles tense, but then she turns and sees you and she immediately calms down.
Just whisper quietly in her ear. It's all right. What is it?
I don't know. It seems to be a dead man's back. I want to go through the butler's room because what Sachiko saw makes her break her routine and check this one first.
Yeah, I want to check the locker.
You notice that the locker door has been damaged, as if someone tried to get into it. But you think after not being able to, you think that they had given up on it. And perhaps in a matter of days after, you think that they tried to push flammable substance from any pores and try to burn what's inside.
Yeah. Is it openable? Completely?
It could be.
He looks over at Cinder.
Move.
He just moves away.
With the power of the cinders combined.
Yeah, there's 2 cinders, one with a sledgehammer and one with an axe.
You manage to do so. You open it up. There are pictures of lots of people. It seems to have been cut from bigger pictures, but they're actual paper pictures that have been cut off.
The cinders will back off because she is now useless.
Both with my criminal and personal background and my biological knowledge, I intently look at what they are searching for.
All right. The pictures seem to be of lots of random people. However, there are a couple of pictures, mostly taken with people with the same person in them, looking happy, but staying at a distance, seeming very polite and spacey, let's say. And there's just one type of picture that stands out, and it seems odd, and that is a series of pictures taken of someone who you think didn't want to be in a picture, but the pictures were taken of him. Definitely the person taking the pictures was scared as well, because none of them are from the front, they're just from the back. And the coat is exactly the type of coat you think Dr. Slab would wear. You think you can recognize it is Dr. Slab that these pictures were taken of.
The person you said who has this personal space but is also happy to be in the pictures. Looking at his pictures, does my insight tell anything to me?
He seems to care a lot about politeness and respect, seems to be very considerate looking, which is odd in that criminal context of the pictures. And otherwise, the height of the person even taking the pictures from Dr. Slab leads you to believe that those are some of the oldest pictures, and the person was very young when taking those.
Based on the evidence that I have now, I want to use my insight and guess, is this person in the pictures an undercover policeman or not?
You're very confused by their behavior. You don't know if it was a cop, a criminal, just someone selfish, and why this person was even related to all of these people. Not enough evidence. But something is strange about if he was like it's a sort of undercover cop, because he seems to be taking the initial pictures at a very young age. It's not odd in this world for police to utilize anyone of any age as long as the companies and the jurisdictions allow. That kind of tips you in the favor, because it's not that common. That tips you in the favor of thinking a cop is unlikely, at least for that time.
And is there anything other than pictures? If not, I will just use forensics on the pictures.
What exactly do you want to know? They seem to be taken at various times. They're very old.
I want to know why they're in the butler's room.
Because the butler took them, but that is me as the player, not the...
This is the younger butler. And you could even perhaps see that Norman is in one of the pictures with him.
And does Artemis doesn't know anything about the Dr. Zoe? Was it Dr. Zam?
Dr. Slab. No, you don't recognize anything like that. You just know there's a series of pictures in the midst that seem to be taken without the consent of the person on the other side, sneakily.
And with the picture that she picked up and was looking at, are there any others similar to that?
There are other types of pictures like that, where the butler is with someone else. And yeah, he just seems to have taken lots of pictures with lots of different people.
I see. I was just curious about the Dr. Slab thing. I want to know who Dr. Slab is and if he's in the pictures or whatever.
You just see this very strange figure that stands out, unlike others. Every picture, his back is to the camera as if they were taken sneakily and by someone very young, you think.
Can I look in the picture for any reflections to show who might be taking the picture? Enhance.
You could guess from how old the pictures are that it's probably the same person. It was probably the same person who was here, living here.
Interesting.
So Succ notices that you pay extra attention to Dr. Slab pictures, and she asks you, why are you curious about those pictures? Do you know the person in the pictures?
Not at all, my dear. I was wondering what was wrong with you. Wanted to know if there's anything I could help with.
No.
Because you said the mother was like an insomniac and had like signs of self-harm. So would there be antidepressants of kinds in there?